Hey, I'm Brent with Janus Motorcycles, and we're here in the fender making area, and we're excited to show off the new product line of side-skirted fenders for our Halcyon line of motorcycles for the 250 and the 450. We've been prototyping these side-skirted fenders over the last few months. You may have seen them on the bike that went out to California that Richard rode up and down the coast, as well as on the Cyberdogs orange 450, as well as the 250 Halcyon, the Flying Z. So we tested out those as prototypes, put some miles on them to see how they performed, and then over the last couple months worked out the details of production to make sure that we can smoothly produce these side-skirted fenders. So here you're looking at the two first production skirted 450 fenders. They are spoken for. They're going on bikes here in the next month, but I'm happy to make you a set. I'm going to show you a bit about how I've developed the process for production and get you a little more close-up look at what we have going on. So looking at these side-skirted fenders, you might notice the inspiration that I'm taking from 1930s and 1940s Indians and Harleys, the 1930s, 40s knuckleheads, and fitting them to the Halcyon 450 in a way that the proportions make sense. Not making them too heavy, but also not missing an opportunity for the flair of a side skirt. You'll notice on the front, this is a standard front Halcyon 450 fender with a different cut on the nose and tail of the fender to lead into the side skirt itself. And also adding a really shallow ducktail at the bottom of it. Nothing too dramatic here. We have ducktailed fenders available on our website as well to configure with your bike. But just something that helps kind of draw the eye out and adds a little bit more drama. Also dimpling a hole right here in the center, giving clearance for one of our front horizontal pivots, and just tucking that in there really nicely against the bead. Side skirts have a flange built in, so I developed some flange tooling that allows us to get a really nice flange built into that top edge, tuck it under really nicely, and then roll it over so that it contours to the inside of the fender and really just lets this line bleed over really nicely onto the side of the fender. Now on the rear of the bike, the larger fender gives us a little more opportunity for drama as well. Nice long sweeping curve matched with a cutout on this side for the chain guard relief, which I really like how that horizontal line cuts up that curve and plays right off perfect alignment there with the chain guard itself. This fender is not your standard 450 rear fender itself. It is a little wider to allow a more seamless curve and a little bit more sidewall on the main fender than your standard 450 Halcyon fender. So these fenders bolt right onto your Halcyon 450 if you already have one. If you wanted to upgrade to a skirted fender, we've got a couple customers at the rally very interested in doing that. These pieces here don't bolt directly to a standard fender. All the transitions are specifically made for the skirted fender itself. One of the challenges of the 450 rear fender is all the attachment points that it has to the bike. And a standard fender has some flex and some variability to it to allow for seamless install. For a skirted fender, this skirt locks in the shape of the fender. There is no flex to this fender as far as install. And so we built the rear end jig. You might recognize this from the rear end of your Halcyon 450. But this allows us to get the perfect fitment up to the bike each time. We redesigned our bead tooling to put the beaded edge on the fender and just got it away from the machine a little bit, more clearance and a little bit more seamless transitions between the inside curves and the outside curves and the tight curves of a skirted fender. I mentioned the flange tooling that allows us to tuck in underneath the fender itself, and game changer for putting holes in metal. Metal workers will know. Dimple die tooling to clean up that relief hole. The new tooling, the new standardized jigs for the side skirts, all of that allows us to put these out in a production setting. A lot of hand work to get everything fit up perfectly on each individual fender, but quick enough to be able to make sense for production. You'll see the similarities here between the skirted fender and the duck-tailed fender. And I just got to point out, this is all handwork here. We're putting this through our profiling tooling to get the exact consistent sidewall and shape and profile we like on the fender, and then hand shaping just a gentle flip out the end here on the rear, and trying to stay classy, not too over the top. Really looking back at some of the 1930s and 1940s Harleys and Indians, and drawing that kind of joy and fun of some of the shapes and angles, but without doing too much. I think what I'm most excited about is seeing what you all come up with as far as paint and pinstripe and how you want to fit these up on the bike color-wise. Whether or not we end up seeing two tones, different colored skirts on different colored fenders, or all one color. And if you want to see how this might look on your bike, hop on the configurator on our website at janusmotorcycles.com and select the skirted fender option on your bike and play with the options yourself. I'm excited to see what you all come up with. I've been Brent with Janus Motorcycles here in the Fender shop, and look forward to keeping you updated on what we're working on next.